Hey, this is Dayspring with Power of X-Men.
This is Sailor Tortilla.
This is Miracle from Magical Melody.
This is Brooke with the Sailor Moon Fan Network, and you're tuned into Double Moonlight Justice
With Z and Grayson.
Okay, so we're gonna run the intro, which is what me and Z do. I always flub it up, so
it's okay. I got faith. This is the one. This is the one.
I'll welcome you, and then
Oh.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
What happened? I don't know what happened. My apologies.
It's all good.
Right, it happens to the best of us.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely going in the outtakes. Moonlight Justice. Moonlight Justice is a fan podcast dedicated to the hit anime. Blah, 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 blah. I was fumbling along the way.
It's okay.
Sorry. Okay, let me try again. Moonlight Justice is a fan podcast dedicated.
Would you?
let me take a sip of coffee.
Okay.
Just give me a little minute.
Moonlight Justice.
Hey Sailor Guardians, it is October 18th and you are tuned in to Double Moonlight Justice. Moonlight Justice is a fan podcast dedicated to the anime manga franchise Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. We are your Sailor hosts. I'm Grayson.
And I am Z.
Here on Moonlight Justice, we adhere to the power of three. The power of three are principles we abide by as your Sailor hosts. 1. Practice controversy with civility. We will respectfully discuss our thoughts and opinions without a feeling of judgment. 2. Things can always be discussed constructively and positively. And 3. We will not engage in racism, xenophobia, phobias, or triggers. However, these topics might be addressed in correlation with our discussion, and we'll be sure to provide you with a disclaimer beforehand. So, our past few episodes of Moonlight Justice have been dedicated to the North American Sailor Moon the Super Live tour. We're excited about this series because Sailor Moon the Super Live is the first instance of a full Sailor Moon musical stage show in America. Sailor Moon the Super Live allows us to connect with you, our Sailor Guardians, and discuss this amazing shared experience. We have some great guests like you lined up to talk about Sailor Moon the Super Live. If you want to speak with Z and me or submit a pre-recorded Q&A, please email us at moonlightjusticepodcast@gmail.com or DM either of us on Instagram. Today, our guest is Quay from Sailor Quay Collectibles. Welcome, Quay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
We are good, and that's right on cue because before we talk about our talking points, we always like to check in. How are you feeling, and what have you been up to lately?
I feel great. I am thriving. I am pretty much just glad to be here, glad to be alive. You know what I'm saying? Things can definitely be worse than what they are, and I just feel great. What I've been up to, I'm a workaholic. I just pretty much go to work, stay out of the way, come home, watch my favorite shows, and go to work.
That's what me and Z call doing our best.
Literally doing our best.
Absolutely.
Z, how have you been, and what have you been up to lately?
Oh goodness. I have been Gucci. I've been okay. I've been taking in the sights of fall and doing my own little thing to the best of my ability. And I have been up to, I've been working on my Star Princess dress, which is a dress that Christine Daae wears within Phantom of the Opera. That is something that has consumed quite literally most of my time between the 30 plus hours of beading, and I just got finished embellishing my sleeves. So that's what I have been predominantly doing, and trying to watch some fall movies on the side.
I love it.
And you have been busy working on that cosplay. How long has it been now?
Oh my goodness, let's see. I started June 1st. About 4 or 5 months consecutively.
Okay. Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. I'm doing well. I am doing the same thing as Quay. I'm going to work. I come home. I play my little video games. I watch my little shows. I'm doing my best.
And we love to hear that.
I am also working on my original story manga called The Vow of the Valentine Night. So I'm really excited about drawing and writing that. I sprained my wrist.
Oh no!
Oh goodness.
So, for you kids out there, be careful playing on your phone, being on social media, texting a lot, because you will end up with a sprained wrist.
Just reminded me, I need to do my hand stretches.
Right, make sure you do your hand stretches. So I remember I went to the doctor one time because my thumb was hurting. And he said, "You sprained your thumb." And I said, "How do you sprain your thumb?" He's like, "Do you text a lot?" And I was like, "Yes." He's like, "Are you on social media a lot?" I'm like, "Yes." He goes, "That's why." So it's basically becoming a common occurrence now, especially with the advent of smartphones, social media, that you will develop sprains in your thumbs and your wrists from your phone. So I have a wrist guard for both wrists in case I need it. So I have been wearing my right wrist guard because my right wrist has been hurting. So I've been able to draw, but I've been collecting inspo, trying to jot down my ideas and stuff like that. I can still use my hand. I just can't draw effectively with a brace on. So I'm doing my best.
I'm so glad. I hope that heals up quickly.
Yes, praying for a safe recovery.
Right. I appreciate it. So, Quay, we're going to run you through what I call the Sailor Obstacle Course. This is a series of questions we like to ask new guests to help the audience get to know you better. So, first question out the gate is Scout, Guardian, Warriors, or Senshi? Which do you prefer?
So I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I first came into the community, the fandom, I said Sailor Scout a lot. Scout this, scout that. I am a Sailor Scout. This scout, that scout.
Period.
Right.
Scout power. I was all for the scouts. But as time has went on and I've looked at Sailor Moon and different languages and stuff like that, it seems like the main translation overseas in Europe is warrior.
Okay.
The Sailor Warriors.
Right.
I feel like Sailor Warrior sounds a little bit more, how do I say it? More to battle. You know what I'm saying? Especially because, we can't lie, those girls, whenever it's time to fight, they get down to battle. So,
right.
I definitely see them as, the Sailor Warriors.
Okay. And that's actually a first on this podcast because we've asked that question in the past and no one has said warrior until today.
Wow.
So Z, Scout, Guardian, Warrior, or Senshi?
Okay, I'm a mixture, and it's all because of PGSM.
Right.
I am a Guardian / Senshi person. Most of the time when I'm speaking of the Guardians, I'll interchange Senshi and Guardians. So those are my two.
Okay. I'm going to be the odd man out in this situation because I prefer Soldier.
And we love that.
Love that. Yes.
Much like Quay, I started out with the Scout, so it was Scout power all day, every day. And then when I learned the official translation, like for the 90s anime and the 90s manga, it was Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon before it changed over to Guardian during the PGSM era. So Soldier is kind of like just a a homage to the original translation that Naoko chose for Bishoujo Senshi. And I do appreciate the Guardian title now, but I feel like Scout and Guardian kind of softens the warrior aspect of the Sailor Senshi, whereas Warriors or Soldier kind of gives them purpose. It gives them a reason to be fighting. When you're a Scout or a Guardian, it feels like you're like, I understand that they are also protecting Earth and stuff like that, but it's like they do more than just protect. They're actually fighting evil. So I feel like Soldier Warrior essentially kind of like gives them more of a fighter aspect that isn't necessarily like played into very often. It's very like, people see Sailor Moon as comedic, they see it as romantic, but they always kind of like dismiss it as like a fighting superhero show, even though that's what they are.
Yes.
I do feel like they tend to focus on the softer aspects. And I also feel like that's why Sailor Moon doesn't get a lot of cred either when it comes to like Dragon Ball or Naruto or something like that. Like we have, now don't get me wrong, we have some Sailor Guardians in the community that like, they are ride or die Sailor Moon fans. They're like, she'll beat Goku any day. Like, but it's like for people that are outside the fandom, they will kind of like downplay Sailor Moon because of one, how she was depicted in the Deke dub for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that how people tend to showcase Sailor Moon as a whole, like they don't really focus on the romance or the drama or the fighting. It's kind of like the comedic, funny elements of Sailor Moon or the cutesy moments that people tend to associate Sailor Moon with.
And see, another thing, whenever it comes to Sailor Moon, just like you said, overall, whenever people see Sailor Moon, they think of, oh, it's cute. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's glitter. Oh, it's this. Oh, they transform. But a lot of people, if you really sit down and watch it, especially during the 4th season, that transitional period, that'll get you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It'll definitely, Sailor Moon throughout all 5 seasons definitely has its ups and downs, but I definitely feel like it's a little too, I don't think cliche is the word that I'm looking for, but I think that it's a little cliche for somebody to say, oh, it's cute, just because if you really sit down and watch it, it's more than that.
I agree.
Yeah. It's kind of diminishing.
Yes, very. They die. They come back. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, the generalizations that even the community tends to put on Sailor Moon and some of the characters is kind of diminishing in itself too, where it's like, oh, they're always dying, or Tuxedo Mask shows up and he doesn't do anything. Sweet home Alabama. They were cousins. Like, I swear, it's like, it's like, I get it. It's the running gag. It's the running joke, but I hear it so day in, day out. There's not a day that goes by where I don't hear those jokes. And I'm just like, tell me you don't watch Sailor Moon without telling me you don't watch Sailor Moon.
That part. Oh my goodness. Because a lot of people, they feel like that since, that they scroll on Facebook or Instagram and, a few episode clips will pop up here and there, that they know about the show. Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? Once you actually sit through and get a broad understanding, then come talk to me.
Sometimes I'm like, they're like, well, they die all the time. So I'm like, well, technically they died twice in the entire show. Like once in the first season and once in the last season. Like, But I don't say that, but in my mind I'm definitely like, well,
Holding up little fingers.
right.
Makes you like cringe a little bit, like, see.
Yeah, well, every fandom has it. Like, I think it's just part of the norm when it comes to the culture of fandoms in general, where it's like you have people that understand the story, the characters, and the nuances of the fandom, and then there are people that just kind of like generalize it. They like it for what it is, but they're not that in tune to it, which is fine. Like, there's levels to everything. So, Quay, you mentioned saying that, like, you used to say Sailor Scout, and that, so I'm guessing you started out on Deke. And that's our next question is, how did you get into Sailor Moon? I like to ask this. I never asked this question before. But Z has like caused me to see the error in my way. So I'm making a point to ask this question now. How did you get into Sailor Moon?
So I became a fan right before the hype came back in 2014. Mm-hmm. I was at my uncle's house. It was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I went to go grab something to drink. I remember this story like it was yesterday. It was Tracy Moore saying Moon, Prism, Power. And he was asleep. And I just like peeked in there, just to see what he was watching. And I just happened to see Sailor Moon transforming. At the time, I didn't know that she was Sailor Moon. So I remember asking him as we were coming back from out of town, and I was like, hey, what's that show that you were watching? And he was like, oh, Sailor Moon. He said, that old show? And I said, yeah. He was like, yes. And he was like, what do you want to know about Sailor Moon? And I was like, well, I want to know more about it. And so I remember getting on YouTube and just looking at Sailor Moon. Like, during that time, you could only watch YouTube with like 7-minute videos. They didn't have like the whole 30-minute, 45-minute and all that. So they would have like select episodes on YouTube, and I would rewatch those same episodes over and over and over. Then I know that this is not okay, but I found a way online to watch the deep dub in its entirety. And so it just became up from there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's really just been up. I have seen all of the deep, seen all of the CWI, Cloverway. Viz, I'm going to keep it real. Don't hate me. Okay, I have only seen like the first season of the Viz dub, and I was not a fan of it.
That's valid.
Yep, that's completely
it's completely
okay.
valid. Yeah, like we do not hate. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their preferences. So we are not judging you whatsoever.
So, like, don't get me wrong. I definitely feel like, everything should come back for its due time. I feel like with Sailor Moon already, previously having 2 English dubs, I feel like if they were going to release another English dub, they should have waited for, like a more later time. Especially with them coming out with Crystal during that same time period too. I feel like they should have went on ahead, let Crystal do its run, and then come back with the English dub, because like the Viz translation, all of it's good. I'm for the English with, the Japanese music and all that. It's just the voices. The voices are so with Viz, I feel like the voices fit better in Crystal than they do in the 90s.
That's valid. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in response to that, I think that what Viz had to deal with is kind of similar to what Cloverway had to deal with as well, where there's a limited time that they have with the license, which is probably one of the reasons why they were rushing through Crystal and Viz to get it all dubbed. I also think that's why the voice cast weren't really like able to fully embody the characters because they're on such a time crunch to just get out this accurate and faithful dub. So I think that that's kind of like where we lose some of that authenticity to the character that we don't necessarily like in comparison to like the original English dub, where the editing and the story was not on par, but the vocalization and the characterization was there.
Yes, it was.
So I think that that's probably what we are, what people are experiencing when it comes to the English dub in its entirety, Viz, Deke, and Cloverway. Now, I like your answer because I thought it was going to be similar to my journey, but it was not whatsoever. And I'm glad I asked the question because that was the assumption, was that, you know, people's journeys were similar to mine. Z basically told me Z's story basically told me I was wrong. So Z, tell us how you got into Sailor Moon.
Oh, goodness gracious. So I got into Sailor Moon through the live action series Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon or PPSM. It was high school freshman year, and a friend of mine's sibling had said, "Oh, I probably like Sailor Moon." I was like, okay. So I looked it up on YouTube, and the live action henshins had showed up. Now, I'm a big Power Ranger fan, so that immediately captivated my attention. And back then, all of the episodes were on YouTube in like 240 quality. I think it was like 2 episodes in one video. And I watched that entire stinking series on YouTube, bawled my eyes out, boo-hoo sobs. And then from there, because around the time that I was getting into Sailor Moon, that's when Crystal was coming out, so I was watching Crystal. And then on top of that, because I was watching Sailor Moon, the Bandai musicals started showing up on my feed, so I got into that. And the Nelken musicals were a thing too. So I was really intermingling different Sailor Moon series, but PTSM was like my gateway into Sailor Moon.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm out here to represent all my elder millennials. because I had a similar experience to Quay, where I was getting ready for school one day, and my dad was doing he was tying my shoe, and I looked at the TV and I saw Sailor Moon transforming. I couldn't hear it. He had the TV on mute, so I saw it and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Didn't think anything about it, right? It wasn't until I was in high school that through Toonami I was able to get into Sailor Moon itself. So Toonami was my gateway. It was the Deke dub, the lost episodes of Sailor Moon. Like, it was like a big thing. So like every day after school, I would come home, 4 o'clock, watch my Sailor Moon. And then like it was Deke dub all the way, Sailor Scouts all the way. I didn't get into the Japanese until Pioneer released the movies on VHS. So there was no YouTube. No Daily Motion, no Netflix. So it was the wild, wild west of the internet. Like, we had AOL dial-up, GeoCity websites that we could only get information from. There was, we didn't have videos online. It was animated GIFs. We didn't have music online. It was MIDI files. Like, it was a time. We had a time back then. So we could only watch Sailor Moon on TV or VHS at that point in time. I got the movies. That was my introduction into the Japanese version of Sailor Moon. So Sailor Moon R, S, and Supers on VHS. Those movies were also my gateway into S and Supers. It was the first time I've seen the Japanese version of those of the show, and it was the first time I saw anything beyond Sailor Moon R. And before the movies, I had gotten a VHS tape from a store in Chinatown here in Las Vegas. and I mistakenly thought it was Japanese, and it was Cantonese. And it was the first time I saw Supers, but I had no idea what was going on because there was no subtitles. It was just straight Mandarin Cantonese. So I was just watching it just to be watching it and trying to figure it out along the way. So it wasn't until I was in like high school that I got the full 200 episode subtitled VKLL. It was like a burned CD with video files on it. That was the only way I could watch the series. Yes. because again, there was no YouTube, so I had my little burned CDs, and I was putting one at a time in the computer, watching my little episodes, eating my Rice Krispie treats. And so I was able to watch the 90s anime as it was intended. Tokyo Pop at the time was releasing the English translated manga. First, it was my mom had bought me the comic books because Tokyo Pop or Smile magazine was releasing the manga as comic books, like in a comic book store. They weren't releasing the pocket mangas. And then when Tokyo Pop took over, they released them as the pocket mangas that are typical, but it wasn't typical right to left. They flipped all the artwork so you could read from left to right.
Oh.
And then like as technology advanced and stuff like that, like I was able to like get the full series, the movies and all that, and that was like my gateway into Sailor Moon and my little journey along the way. I like how you both answered like, because my next question was, how did you watch Sailor Moon when you started? YouTube. And I, was like watching on TV, VHS, DVD. So we learned how we started watching Sailor Moon. How do you prefer to watch Sailor Moon now? Quay?
Me, I'm gonna keep it real ever since, because I've just seen Sailor Moon. Like, I just seen it. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it so many times. I just get on Pluto and they play episodes at random. So I'll just, turn on Pluto, see which episode they have on at the time, and just sit back and watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like the randomness of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Z, what about you?
Well, I am a toss-up. If I feel like watching Sailor Moon, I usually gravitate towards PGSM. Of course, there'll be specific episodes that I have in mind. And I also watch the musicals. Lately, I've been gravitating towards, of course, Melke Productions and ironically Super Vibe-related things. But if I'm feeling something animated, then typically I will go for Crystal.
Okay. I don't watch Sailor Moon as much as I used to. If I do watch it, it's mainly from my computer. I have all of my files digitally. Yep. I did watch the Viz, like when the Viz dub was on Hulu, I did watch the first 4 seasons just to kind of like get a feel for it. The 5th season took forever to come out, so I haven't even watched the 5th season yet. Mm-hmm. But mainly, like if I do feel like I'm in the mood to watch Sailor Moon, I'll just put it on my computer and screen mirror on my TV. Just because some of the files I have are a little higher quality. Mm-hmm. And because I do Sailor Moon edits for Instagram, I'm like constantly looking at Sailor Moon clips more than anything else. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like how the journeys was, like how they started and like how you were able to access it and watch it. And I think that now that because it's so accessible, like either you're watching it at random or you're, watching an episode here or a musical there or something like that, or you're just kind of like in and out depending on your mood. So We talked about how we got into Sailor Moon and how we watch it and how we access it now. So I'm going to ask each of you, what's your favorite version of Sailor Moon? Would it be the 90s anime, Crystal, PGSM, the manga, or Miyu? And of the one that you choose, what is your favorite episode or chapter of the medium that you chose? And we'll start with Quay.
I am a big Mew fan. I love the musicals.
Excellent.
My favorite musical is the very first musical, The Legend
Wow.
of King.
Uh-oh,
let's
Z's
go.
alley.
Gaiden Dark Kingdom Fukatsu!
Sailor Moon, na na na, Sailor Moon, like
Yes, Mystery Saga G.
about. I love it. I love it. I love everything about that musical. Just Anta's like run was just phenomenal to me. Just everything about her, I was just intrigued about whenever I started my musical journey, and especially like the musicals were so different. You know what I mean? They weren't like so different, but they were like so different to the point like we were seeing characters that we wasn't even seeing in the anime.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We were seeing plots that we weren't even seeing in the anime. So I just feel like the musicals is like, a different universe in the Sailor Moon realm.
Okay. Z, do you feel the same way, or do you have a favorite version and favorite episode or chapter?
This is such a hard question because things intermingle for me. I'm biased in saying that like PGSM is my favorite version because that's what got me as invested into Sailor Moon as it has today. But I also love the Muse really, really badly. But we'll get. I'll blab about that later. So for PGSM. I think my favorite episode or arc, oh goodness, there's like 2 to 3 arcs. I'll say lately. I've honestly been enjoying the intro episodes. So like episode 1, 2.
Okay.
Just all the Senshi introductions, and especially episode 1 because I've been further appreciating like just the direction of the scenes and how they're shot, like that last shot that happens at the end of episode 1 that forever sends chills down my spine because it's like, wow, it just adds this aura of mystery even though I already know what's going to happen, but like, the fact that it can still do that after all these years, it's magical. It's so magical. So
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. PGSM, like it was leading you in a certain way and then it turned around and went in a whole other direction. So
completely.
I definitely get the nostalgia when you talk about that because it was like, what is going to happen? And then like, because I remember watching PGSM when it debuted, so we had no idea what was going to happen next week to week. And so it wasn't until it like deviated, it was like, whoa.
This is the script.
I'd say my favorite version of Sailor Moon is the 90s anime just because it's just nostalgic for me. My favorite episode is like the Luna episode where she runs into Rhett Butler. The Japanese one in particular, the Japanese dub for sure. Keiko Han, who plays Luna, was hilarious in that episode. And it's done by my favorite animator, Ikuko Ito.
I know that's right.
So just the animation was beautiful. It was hilarious. It was comedic, and it cracks me up. Just the scenes with Luna alone, like from the beginning all the way to the end, like Luna would have me cracking up. So whenever I think about Sailor Moon, I think about that episode. So we talked about like how we got in Sailor Moon and our favorite versions of Sailor Moon. Quay, who is your favorite Sailor Warrior? I'm going to use your term for this question.
My favorite Sailor Warrior. Mine has definitely changed over the years. I have been a Mars fan. I had a Sailor Mars themed birthday party one year.
What?
Yes. I've been a Venus fan. Right now, at this current time, I am a big Moon fan. Everything about Sailor Moon. I've been buying really only Sailor Moon only stuff. So if it has like any of the others on it, I've been like, I don't want y'all right now. I'll fool y'all later. It's something about Sailor Moon throughout the series. The girl has gone through so much, and there has been so many times to where she just could have said like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it, I'm done. But the fact that she kept on trying, the fact that she still gets up, even though she doesn't have anything left, and she still wants to fight. The determination in her, I love it. Like, I love how she fights, how she is. And with Sailor Moon herself, it gets to the point to where it's like, she doesn't want to fight unless, okay, like if she has to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the other warriors, they'll be like, okay, you know, fuck you, world shaking. Okay. You nerve. You know what I'm saying? That, like,
right.
You know, Sailor Moon is like, okay, before I pull out this last item, can we just talk, please? Because I don't want to use this. Right. And it gets overused. I don't want to drain myself out. So can we just please talk this out? And it's just like Sailor Moon is her. You know, regardless of who she's around, she's always going to be Usagi. She's always going to be Serena. She's always going to be her, regardless of who she's around. And I love it. I'm all for it. I love it. I love her.
Right. Z, what about you? Who's your favorite Sailor Senshi? I know we get this question all the time and it always changes, but I'm still going to keep it.
Right now, I'm a Sailor Jupiter girly.
Right.
Real bad. Real bad.
Love it.
I love Sailor Moon too. I think she's definitely my favorite character, and I definitely agree with Quay's sentiments about Usagi. Like she perseveres, she rises up to the challenge even when she doesn't want to. I think she's, you know, I think like she's like when it comes to like some of her qualities, especially like when it comes to like people that she cares about, or when she feels like there's another way to go about things, it's almost to a fault in a sense. Like with Hotaru, like she did not want to kill her. She felt like there was a better way, like to her own detriment, mind you. So it's very interesting, like who she, you know, like for Mamoru or for Hotaru or Chibiusa, like she will put herself in a line of fire. Like she won't kill other people, but she will kill herself.
Absolutely, yes.
To keep other people from being harmed. Like I say, like it's definitely a virtue, but it can be a virtue to a fault in a sense where it's just like you know you're willing to give up your life, but you will not give up the life of others. You know, for the same outcome, if you will. You know, I love that she is a ride or die. She's a true blue friend. She 9 times out of 10 acts, you know, it comes from a place of love, like 9 times out of 10. While she has some selfish qualities, she is not a selfish person. So I think it's very interesting. Like I think that's one of the reasons, like why Naoko gravitated towards her and why she is a beloved character, because I think that we all wish we had a friend like Usagi that would go to battle for us and put their lives on the line for us, because you don't really find people like that.
No.
So I think it's interesting that we have our favorite characters. We aspire to be like them, or they inspire us to be better people. But most of the times, the Senshi that we like are not like us. So, Quay, which Sailor Senshi or warrior is most like you or close to your own personality?
Woo. That's I would say that's a hard one. and
Yep.
and my reasoning for saying that is because it's like with the Senshi, with the warriors, it's kind of like you got the inner Senshi. Mercury, she's always gonna be, cool, calm, and collected. Like, that's her. But the rest of the inner Senshi, they're out, they're wild, they're outgoing, they're boy crazy, they're this. Then you have the outer Senshi, which is like, okay, we're very mature. We're gonna have our Prada bag. We're about to go out. We're about to go do this.
Not Prada. Helicopters and all that, penthouse apartments.
Well, I mean, they did have helicopters in the series. I would say, on a more day-to-day basis, I am a more Setsuna. So, while I'm at work, I do carry, like Louis Vuitton, Michael Kors, and stuff like that. And how she carries herself, we have to dress business casual at work. How she carries herself is a very, business casual way. And so sometimes, I try to resonate myself with that. Even whenever it comes to, your tone and how you carry yourself. Because you've noticed with Setsuna, she has never, ever, raised her voice. She always has, this real calm demeanor. Absolutely.
Okay. Z?
That was such a wonderful answer. I really genuinely love that.
Right.
I am definitely I am a Ami Mizuno, Sailor Mercury kind of person. I'm very quiet, very analytical, and I'm very meticulous as a person, especially with the work that I do. And I can often get caught up in said work that I do. And I try to think that I'm a rather calm person. And yeah.
For me, I feel like Z kind of embodies Mako-chan when she's by herself. Like when she's at home, cooking and cleaning and stuff like that. I feel like she has
when you say that.
like when she's out. So when she's outside, when she's with her friends, it's just like she's boy crazy. She, she's tough and stuff like that. But I know that the Mako-chan at home, she's like, I'm gonna make myself a nice little meal. I'm gonna enjoy my flowers and stuff like that. I wish that they did more, showed that side of Mako-chan, because we don't see it a lot. You do see it in PGSM.
You do.
So usually, when I get ready for Z to answer that question, I picture that scene from PGSM where she has the bandana on her head and she's tasting the soup. That's what I think about when you're making your cosplay.
I'm wearing a bandana right now, so it's so funny
So guys,
for me, what's
my
that?
Apologies. So speaking of PGSM, I haven't seen it.
So you have homework this weekend, sir. You have homework. MissDream.org or Sailor, or was it SeaOfSerenity.net? You have 2 resources to go watch PGSM. You have no more rooms for excuses.
I've seen the transformations. I even own a couple of the dolls, but I have not
That's hilarious.
not actually sat down and watched an episode. I've heard the music, like I said, I've even heard the background music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I have not actually sat down and examined.
So write it down. I, Quay, will watch PGSM and will join Z and Grayson for another podcast to talk about PGSM because the anniversary was this month.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
22 years. You have no more excuses, sir.
Luckily, I have my iPad right here, so I am getting on Sea of Serenity right now. And
so for me, the Senshi that's most like me, I definitely, my answer has not changed in all these years. I'm definitely a Sailor Pluto. In a sense where it's like, as a Senshi who is, like for a long time has been a solitary guardian of time and space. I'm very much an introvert. I am okay with being on my own and doing things for myself, but much like Setsuna or Pluto, I feel like there is a need to be a part of something greater than myself, to be connected and aspire to someone like Sailor Moon, much like Sailor Pluto does in the manga, where she has always wanted to fight along Sailor Moon, and Sailor Moon has been an inspiration to her as a soldier. So I definitely feel some resonance with Sailor Pluto, Setsuna, the character, because you can definitely see the difference between her appearance in the Black Moon arc and her later appearances in S/Infinity, where she is able to fight alongside her companions, and she's able to care and be with the people that she's always wanted to be with. So I think that's, what encapsulates that character for me and why she's close to my own personality. So we talk about our favorite Senshi and what Senshi we are alike, but there's more than just Sailor Senshi and Sailor Moon. So Quay, out of all the Sailor Moon characters in the show, who's your favorite? Is it Naru? Is it Motoki? Is it Rika or Momo? Like, there's so many different side characters that appear in Sailor Moon. Do you have a favorite outside of the Sailor Senshi?
So, I'm not necessarily a side character. My overall favorite character besides Sailor Moon, and I wish that they had more merchandise for him. I was a big Tiger's Eye fan. Especially whenever he went out in public, how flamboyant he was, his tone of voice, how he would go out wearing this different fashion, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with Hawkseye. How, one episode, didn't he have on like some overalls? I think he had on like a pair of overalls and like this striped t-shirt. Like, I love it. I am for it. But I'm a big Tiger's Eye fan. Even in the musicals, he was great.
That is definitely a first for us.
It is. I love that so much.
Right.
It's something about him that's different from like all of the other villains throughout the series. I've never really came across a male villain that is like female crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. At the beginning of every bar scene, always talking about a female. And I'm pretty sure if he was a real person, he would be on and popping. Like, he would be on and popping.
Okay. Z, what about you? Is it still Motoki from PGSM?
It is still Motoki from PGSM. It's still him.
Okay. For me, it's still Naru. I feel like I still can't help but feel that she had a bigger purpose in the original 90s anime than what Naoko intended. I think that they were Toei was going in a direction with Naru, and Naoko was like, no. I see what you're trying to do, but that's not gonna happen.
I'm not. It seemed like they kind of just cut her out of nowhere.
Yeah, she was so prominent in the first two seasons, and then the third season, like after she got together with Umino, it was like, okay, well, her story's done.
That part, yes, yes, yes.
So you mentioned Tiger's Eye as your favorite character. Is Tiger's Eye also your favorite villain?
Now, believe it or not, no. My reasoning for saying that is because you have the boss villains, and then you have, the villains of the week or the villains of the day. Then you have like the mid-tier villains.
Mm-hmm.
Tiger's Eye is more of like, a mid-tier villain.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Nehelenia, she was badass.
Mm-hmm.
That like filler arc in between, Super S and Stars, I loved it. I was all for it. How she came in with the Dream Mirror, how I don't know the correct name for it, but I always they come out and they yell. It's like Nehelenia's little monsters. What are they called?
Lemurus.
Lemurus?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. I love them. Them. It's just the little song that they the little song that they sing, it's always stuck in my head, and I'll even catch myself singing it. And how she went after Mamoru was like, that was a little bit crazy, you know what I'm saying? And how Usagi went through, you know what I'm saying, those vines, going through all that, then running into Makoto on the way. Nehelenia, she was badass. She was putting them in these different dreams. It was she was like a mind. She was more of like that mind like villain. Don't get me started on Galaxia, because Galaxia did some mind fuck. But but Nehelenia was more of like, a reality mind fuck, if that makes sense. Like she would mess up your room. She would. Like, you're liable to be sitting on the couch and you look up, you're at the circus. Like that, like she's the type who will like mess up your reality. Right.
Nehelenia is also my favorite villain. Especially the 90s anime. Yoshiko Sakakibara, who is the Japanese voice for Nehelenia, definitely sold that character for me. Very regal. Sailor Moon was truly scared of Nehelenia, and I think that that's something that not a lot of villains were able to like incite fear like that. Because when you see Nehelenia take, like when she has Mamoru cursed and she appears in the mirror, you see the pure look of terror on Usagi's face when Nehelenia appears in that mirror. I think that that's kind of like what Quay was like saying, like it's just like, like she knows how to incite fear and terror and trauma. Like what she put Sailor Moon through was enough to like scare the bejesus out of her when she appeared. I definitely like her arc in Stars, because it not only kind of like gave a proper ending to the Nehelenia arc, but it also humanizes a character that you don't often see in a way. So I love like the humanization of Nehelenia and how Sailor Moon could not bring herself to kill someone that truly terrified her. Like she was scared of Nehelenia, and the fact that she was able to look beyond that and see her as someone that could be redeemed and saved and, worth saving, and that she used her power to give her a different reality speaks volumes. Nehelenia is a villain that you root for. And she's definitely, and I equate her to Maleficent. I feel like she's the Maleficent of anime. Like I just get those vibes from her. Z, what about you? Favorite Sailor Moon villain?
I love Galaxia, and I love the Four Heavenly Kings.
Yes, Shitenno.
Yep.
The Shitenno. They are. Speaking of Shitenno, another like I think that's like if I was going to choose like a favorite like episode of PGSM, it would be the special act because they're hilarious.
Literally, they're so freaking funny, and then they slay real bad.
Yes. Yes. So remember, Quay, PGSM and the special act. Don't skip and Act Zero.
Act Zero, Kirari Super Live,
right?
Special dance lesson. Okay.
Z will send. I'll have Z make a list for you, and I'll make sure you get it. So you got all your assignments.
So I have seen a few clips of Act Zero. I think yes, and isn't it to where Usagi has like a pink like Fuku, a bunny Fuku?
Yeah, Sailor Rabbit.
Sailor Rabbit, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen a few, a little bit here and there, but I don't know what else happened in the rest of the episode.
So, Quay, your claim to fame is collecting, and your IG is dedicated to vintage anime finds. Hence, our next question. Tell us about your collection and what you look for when collecting.
So, I have been a collector since 2016. At first, I was just a primarily Sailor Moon collector. I don't want anything else if it wasn't Sailor Moon. I started off with the Irwin dolls. I fell into the Irwin trap, okay? The Irwin trap is not a good trap.
Them things is ugly!
And I had my little catalog down. I was doing good until the other fandoms came along. And so with those other fandoms, after I started my Sailor Moon collection, I watched Cutie Honey Flash in all of its entirety.
I love Cutie Honey Flash. I still need to finish watching it.
Oh my gosh, I love Cutie Honey Flash. And I started a Cutie Honey Flash collection. But see, the thing with Cutie Honey Flash is there's not a lot of merchandise.
There really isn't.
As compared to Sailor Moon, so my collection is fairly, wrapped up. I'm missing, I think I'm missing like a handful of items. Like one of them is like, you will change with, it's like her little, not the airborne element fixation device, but it's like her little choker that she wears. And then her best friend, Natsuko, has a special doll that's limited to like 500 pieces that I'm looking for. I've seen another collector on Instagram have it. She's from Italy, I think, and she had the box and everything, and I was like, you go, girl.
Right.
Then I have dipped into a little bit of Dragon Ball and Precure.
Okay. Nice little eclectic collection going on here.
Yes, and then last but not least, the Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that there's really not a lot of Powerpuff Girl things to collect either, is there?
Not really, believe it or not. It's really, the Powerpuff Girls is a very...
it's very niche.
Yes, very niche. Like, it just depends on the time, if that makes sense. Like, what's going on with the world. And so I guess, like, nowadays, the whole Y2K aesthetic is back.
Right.
So I guess that's why, they're bringing back, stuff like the Powerpuff Girls. I actually just got the LOL dolls. They're based off of like... Yeah.
I saw the picture on your story.
Yes, I love them. They are to die for. Next on my list is the Powerpuff Girl Z dolls, and those are
Period.
Yes. And those are Spain exclusives. So I guess I'm gonna have to hop on European eBay and
pay some tariffs.
Pay some tariffs. Pay some tariffs. But
Right.
those dolls are so expensive. So expensive and so rare. It's crazy.
Nice. So you did mention Cutie Honey Flash. I like Cutie Honey Flash, and I'm a big like 6 degrees of Sailor Moon thing. It's my little hobby.
Mhm.
So Cutie Honey Flash uses the same animation team that did Sailor Stars.
Yes.
So it was really cool to see, like, and it took over the time slot for Sailor Stars when the show ended. So I think that that's also cool. I am not as avid as a collector as you are. I have been collecting like Sailor Moon replicas. I have some PGSM stuff, glitters and glamour statues. I guess what I am I'm making a point to collect is the SH Figure Arts figures.
Ooh.
But I'm only collecting the original wave. I'm not collecting the animation color. I'm collecting the first wave that came out back in like 2009. So for the most part, I have everybody except Super Sailor Mars, Super Sailor Mercury, and I think that's it. I think I'm only missing those two. I think maybe Tuxedo Mask. I have to double check my collection. It's all in storage right now. I'm just collecting like the 90s replicas. I don't want the Eternal Kaleidoscope or anything like that. But I do want the 90s Kaleidoscope. I just got the Cutie Moonrod replica.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm really excited. I've been wanting to get that for years. The Crystal Star Compact was my first replica buy. And so ever since then, it's like turned into like this whole replica journey. So collecting isn't as extensive as most collectors. I'll try to find PGSM stuff for Z.
Yeah. It's very, very kind.
Z, what do you have collected?
Well, so I do like to focus on PGSM specific things. So thanks to G, I have the Star Bracelet and the Star Tambourine, which are like two things that I had always wanted since I watched PGSM. But I also own the Moon Stick and the brooch. I have like one tiny little moon figure laying about somewhere. And I also like blankets, so I love Sailor Moon blankets. I have a plethora of those. Got some posters somewhere. And I also like to say that my cosplays are collectibles because
Yes,
they're
they
merch,
are.
what have you. Because they involve Sailor Moon in some shape or form.
Yes, indeed.
But my collection's also really, really small. Like if I get something, it's got to be specific to something that I really like.
Right.
And one of these days, I would love a Sailor Moon doll, and I really want the Bandai, I think the style dolls. That's the title. I just think those are so cute, and I love how the little foofies are on those.
The dolls creep me out. I'm sorry.
I think they're so adorable.
No.
The style dolls are so I'm gonna keep it real about the style dolls. Okay, they are not worth the $100 price point that they are going for.
I think it's because they're so rare to find. I don't think it's a
Yes.
quality thing. I just think it's like a rare find type thing. Jerome is an extensive Sailor Moon doll collector, and I like live vicariously through him. Rhett collects.
Yeah.
Sailor Tortilla, because like I love, like it's just like for me, I could never, like I would love to aspire to that, but it's like I know that is quite an extensive journey. So like when we had Brooke and Sailor Tortilla on, they were like, please don't be like us and try to like match our collection. Like work within your means, work within what you got, because this is not for the weak. It's not for the meek or the weak.
Sailor Moon is not cheap.
Right, it is not cheap at all, especially Sailor Moon stuff. Speaking of Brooke, you got to meet Brooke from Sailor Moon Fan Network.
Yes,
Quay.
I did.
And what was that like? You got to meet her in person.
She was lovely. Oh my goodness. If I could see her again, I would love to. Her energy is phenomenal. She is phenomenal. One of the things I will say is within this community, there are so many different Moonies out there. Me personally, where I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So there's really not, much of a community like that here. It's very, 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 very small. And so with Brooke, whenever I ended up meeting her, it was like we just like instantly connected. You know what I'm saying? She was just fantastic. And we just chatted it away. We ended up like, believe it or not, we chatted so long that we both had to go. We was like, oh, we both ran over, you know what I'm saying? And so I would love to see her again. She is very fantastic.
Yeah, we had her as a guest on our first season, and she's sweet and she's hilarious. She cracked me up.
Yes, she is.
And it is true what you do say about like Sailor Moon communities in real life. They are very, like, from my experience, they are very solitary and they're very small. I think it has changed over time. I think that when Sailor Moon fans get together, you do feel that connection and that warmth. I think it's also from like the lack of having that community like in person. I feel like the online community is like bustling with people and connection and stuff like that. So to get to experience that outside of an online aspect is phenomenal. So I'm glad that, you're able to meet fellow creators and collectors and it be a positive experience where it's just like, oh, they were so sweet online, but then they, and I met them in person. It was like, don't meet your heroes. Like,
Absolutely.
Speaking of the community as a whole, so I know that we kind of like talked about like when we started our Sailor Moon journeys, but I think the journey and starting gateways does not necessarily equate to your involvement and connection with the community as a whole. So when do you say, like, would you say that you started in the Sailor Moon community and how long you've been in the community?
So I would want to say I started in the community around 2017.
Okay.
I actually have pictures from my old Google account of when I first started my collection. Listen, couldn't nobody tell me nothing. I thought I was hot stuff with my little Hot Topic mirror. I found three Irwin dolls at the local Goodwill, and then I had like a few plushies, and I just, you know what I'm saying? I was humble.
Right.
I enjoyed it. And so as time went on, I started watching YouTube and started following, Sailor Tortilla, Ochiba Wolf, Sailor Samara.
Mm-hmm.
They would always, talk about their Instagrams. At the time, I didn't have an Instagram. I knew what Instagram was, but I just wasn't, too familiar with it. So I said, okay, let me try to see if I can, finagle an Instagram. So I went on ahead and started an Instagram. And it just pretty much, I started posting. But then life happens and you get drifted away from Instagram a little bit. But then you start, but then you get drifted away again. And so I need to do better with being more active on Instagram. It's just life. Life has just gotten to us. But with my involvement, I will say, I'm still fairly active. I'm more of a liker, commenter, story poster, resharer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I haven't posted any of my own personal media. I couldn't even tell you. I know it's been at least a good 2 to 3 months.
Okay. That's valid. I mean, I think like when it comes to social media presence, especially now, people are more strategic when it comes to sharing online, just because like the response can be overwhelming for some people.
Yes.
And some people aren't prepared for that level of attention. And you have to be intentional about how you are posting online, because it could easily be misconstrued and draw the wrong or negative response that you're also not prepared for.
Yes.
Z, how long have you been in the Sailor Moon community? Like when would you say you started, and how long has it been for you?
I think I can safely say about a decade, because I would say 2015 is when I got involved in the Mooney community, specifically on Tumblr. I had a Tumblr a long time ago.
Yes.
So how I would see a lot of Mooney related things was through fan art and fan fiction, especially because back then I used to write fan fiction. And it got to a point where like I had started, because on Tumblr, I don't know if they still have these, they probably do, there'd be like weeks dedicated to ships. And I had saw that there wasn't one for Mamoru Usagi, so I started Mamoru Usagi on there. And then just for giggles, because I love Mamoru Chiba, I also started Mamo Chiba Week on there. Just so
and
like
it's still ongoing.
Which is so bonkers to me. It's so wild. And I guess in terms of like the cosplay scene, like cosplaying for Sailor Moon and stuff, that happened off. I say off social media in the sense that like I was doing stuff off social media when I was cosplaying for Sailor Moon, but it would get posted on Tumblr. But I got an Instagram 2018, 2019-ish, kind of, sort of, and that's how I got further involved in Mooney stuff, and then it just kind of branched off from there. So, like, safely a decade. I'd say 2015-ish is when I got invested.
Okay, that tracks for sure.
It's just flown.
It has.
Right.
What about you, Drew?
So I was like trying to think about how I was going to answer this question, and I was going to say I was like, oh yeah, I started like in 2020, like when during the pandemic when I did the Sailor Moon guy on TikTok. But I realized it has been like over a decade for me. I think that, like I've been a Sailor Moon fan for a good part of my life, and I wasn't really actively involved in the community, like, to an extent to where like I was connecting with other people. But I would have to say over a decade, because I also started out on Tumblr, and I created a Tumblr dedicated specifically to Ikuko Ito and her art style.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
So, and I had been writing it for years, but it's like, I guess for me, it was like, it's not something that is front facing for me. Like I'm not personally attached to it. Like my face is not on it. My name is not on it. It's just my own little corner on the internet where I share, Ikuko Ito's art. And so when I started the Sailor Moon guy and I was connecting with various people in the community, specifically like some Sailor Moon art accounts, stuff like that, I was connecting with people that were using my Tumblr blog as a source for Ikuko Ito art. So they're like, oh, that was you? Like, oh, I've been following you for years. So I think it's like interesting, like how you are connecting with other people and the medium that you're choosing to connect through. Because like I said, there was no association between me and this blog until I made the Sailor Moon guy. So I was like, okay, now that I'm connected in this way, people are recognizing me through my edits and through the Tumblr blog. So it's been over a decade. I think that since the pandemic, when I started the Sailor Moon Guide, that I am more so connected with the community than I have been before. And I think that people appreciate it. People like that I call myself like the big brother of Sailor Moon, because like I've had some people say, you know, like, oh, I'm estranged from my siblings, so it's really nice to hear you say that and being able to interact with you in comments and stuff like that. So I know that in the community itself, like I said, it can be solitary. Like the Sailor Moon experience has been a solitary experience. Like most people that have watched Sailor Moon have not watched it in a collective way. When they started, it was usually like, oh, I tuned in myself and I watched this and I watched that. And it's not until like Sailor Moon R hit theaters, Le Movement Finale was in theaters.
That was so fun, yeah.
And the Super Live is probably the only instances where the Sailor Moon community was able to come together for a shared experience. I think that that's the difference.
Yes.
So, speaking of Sailor Moon the Super Live, Quay, you got to go to see the Super Live. When did you go?
So I attended the Minneapolis show in April.
Okay.
It was phenomenal. It was so phenomenal. I will say that is something that I have always wanted to do as a Sailor Moon fan, as a musical fan, really. As a musical fan, the Super Live for me was very bright. I will say that. It was very bright.
You must have been in the front row.
Yeah,
I was pretty close up. I wasn't like too close up, but I was close enough. I think I was like row 7.
Okay.
On the floor.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and it was still pretty bright. So whenever I went, my show started at 7. I got to the venue at 3, in which I'm glad that I got to the venue at that time, because at 4:30
you were there at 3 o'clock and the show started at 7?
Yes, because they said that
what had happened was
that the first 50 people could get like a light stick.
Oh, that's right.
That's so fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know about y'all, but if I'm gonna travel halfway across the country to see a musical, I need to get all of the inclusives. So absolutely, I'm going to go, as early as I can. And I made a few connections out there. I was able to, take a few pictures with a few ladies and stuff like that. It was phenomenal.
Okay.
So
It's wonderful.
during the musical, I don't know what was going on in front of me, but they kept on telling folks to turn their phones off. I wasn't worried about them. I was focused on the stage.
That is amazing. So you said you're a musical fan. So it is safe to assume that the Super Live was not the first Miu you ever watched.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
And what was the first Miu that you ever watched?
Oh, like in person?
Absolutely.
Like in
general. Like, what was the first Miu you ever saw?
The first Miu, I'm trying to go back and think. It's been, because that's one that I'm really gonna have to dig. I think it was Yume Senshi.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, Saturn Fukatsu Hen.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I enjoyed that musical, especially how they incorporated, the Usagi Circus Showtime still, even with the Stars theme a little bit. Just whole Eternal Sailor Moon singing Usagi Circus Showtime was just, I loved it. It was just perfect. It was perfect. It was perfect. But that musical, that was really like the very first musical that I really paid attention to and did a lot of comparing and contrasting. Because you got to think about it, they're really doing like one season in an hour and a half, 2 hours, really. So one of the main things that I like about the musicals is that even though they had a lot of side stories, it still remained true to the source, which is the manga.
Right.
A lot of them, for instance, like in Anza's run, especially the more later musicals like Sailor Stars, Ian and Setsu, those were more, it felt like more manga based musicals. And whenever you got more to, like the Marina side of musicals, which, I hope I do not, I hope I don't ruffle anybody's feathers with this one, but I am not a Marina fan. Whenever it comes to
Ouch!
I am not a Marina fan. She was just a little bit too much.
Too young.
She was a little bit like, she had that Usagi character, but the musicals that they had her perform was the wrong Usagi, if that makes sense. Her portrayal of Usagi, I felt like was more of an early Usagi, like so early to the point to where she's having to ask Luna, what is the transformation phrase again? Early to that point.
I mean, to be fair, each stage is kind of like a rerun of the musicals. So I think that's probably why they did it that way too.
Yeah.
Z, what was the first movie you ever watched?
Ironically, I think it was Yume Senshi I E&D. If it was not that one, then it was the one that has Uranus and Neptune's intro.
Okay. What were you gonna say, Quay?
Isn't that one? It's like Usagi. It's like the road, the love.
Yeah, the road to the Sailor Soldier.
Yeah. Road to become the super warrior or something like that.
Yeah.
The S musical.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, the first movie I ever watched, I have to honestly say, was La Reconquista, the Nell K revival. That was the first musical that I ever sat down and properly watched. I've seen clips from Sailor Stars, Ian Densetsu, and like I told Z before, like the costumes and the wigs kind of like took me out of the experience because I was like, this is a lot. And for me, it was a learning experience too, because it was like, yeah, they dressed like that for the back of the stage, for the people in the back, up in the rafters, more than anything else. So I was like, so when I did like watch, I would like squint to like make it blurry, and I'm like, okay, I can see it. But yeah, the Nell K revival was kind of like my proper introduction into Miyu. And after I watched the Nell K, and I think I was waiting for the last musical to come out, I went back and watched, for the most part, all of the Bandais, except for maybe the last few of the Marina run. So, speaking of musicals, what is your favorite Miyu, and who is your favorite Miyu Moon? We already know Marina's not yours. Quay.
My favorite, I'm not gonna lie, I do love Anza, but I've been feeling Miss Riko Tanaka, the most current Sailor Moon actress. I love her. I really do. I feel like she's definitely been putting that Usagi energy, modern day, Usagi energy. I love her.
I love her voice too.
Me too. Yes, me too.
And your favorite Miyu, what's your favorite musical?
My favorite musical, that's a tough one. Wow, that is a tough one. There has been so many.
I know. You gotta
so
pick.
Many. Yep. You gotta narrow.
The one that I've been enjoying the most overall, it was the 30th anniversary musical.
Chronicle!
It's right after the Starry Heavens. It's like that Sailor Moon transformation song.
The Super Sailor Moon song.
Yes. Whenever I tell you, hearing that in person, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, that has became like my most favorite new melody of this current year.
Okay.
That transformation. It's something about it. It's something. About it.
And Z, favorite Miyu Moon and favorite musical.
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm also a big Anza girly. Really, really badly.
Anza originated the role, so
yeah. So it's
you don't have to pick her as your fave. Like we are.
Okay,
like,
cool.
It's her props and her credits. We already know that Anza is.
She's got her flowers.
The best. Yeah, Yeah.
Rico has also been growing on me really badly, and I also love Yuio Koyama. She was the UK Moon for Super Live. I love her performance of Usagi or Moon very much. And soft shout out to Satomi Okubo. I love her too.
Right.
Oh yes.
And your favorite Miyu?
Oh lord. I'll say right now, excluding the Super Live 2025. I really like the Nogi Mew from 2024.
Yes. The most recent one, right?
Yes.
The most recent Nogi Mew with the costume changes and all that?
Yeah. And I want to say
not the one with the clown costumes.
No, not 2018. 2024. Ooh.
Okay. I have to say my favorite Miyu Moon is Hotaru.
Okay.
Amor Eternal and Le Mouvement Finale.
Yes.
I tend to go for the, like, I guess, mature Usagi, like close to, like, it's like Neo Queen Serenity adjacent Usagis. So like Satomi was very like comical and funny, and don't get me wrong, Hotaru's funny too, but the way she plays Sailor Moon, just like she embodies like a mature Usagi. Like she's still funny, she's still goofy, but it's like she has like this sincerity about her that just like, especially in Le Mouvement Finale when she is getting ready to confront Galexia, and when she's fighting Galexia, like it's just like she emotes in a way that she sings that it's just like my favorite portrayal of Sailor Moon in a musical. I love Rico. I love Rico's voice. Sailor Moon Super, like, it's, I guess for me, it's like Super Live goes without saying because it's the most recent and it's the one that we got to see in person for the most part. So I think that, you know, seeing her sing it's like she's like a perfect culmination of characterization and voice for Sailor Moon. I think that's one of the reasons why she's doing so well. But I love Hotaru. And I have to say, like, my favorite Miyu is probably going to be Le Mouvement Finale, if not Un Nouveau Voyage. Un Nouveau Voyage, I feel like it's just like, it goes without saying because the Infinity S season is my favorite arc. So I think that just goes without saying, but it's like I loved the storytelling in Le Mouvement Finale. So I have to probably say that's my favorite, even though it's like the last Nelke revival of that series. So, Quay, you got to see Sailor Moon the Super live. So that was your first experience as seeing a Miyu in person, as it was for me. Z wasn't able to see the show, but she was able to watch it on YouTube.
Yes.
So what was it like? Like, I know that you, like, you know, kind of like summed it up in your experience, but for it being like, you know, you got there early, like, what was it like? I guess for me, it's like, how would you, like, if you had to describe the experience in one word, like, what was it like seeing Sailor Moon Super live in person here in America?
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Literally everything I will say, regardless of what type of fan you are, even for the people who weren't Sailor Moon fans, still like they still went. That show was very amazing. It was. It was a very amazing show.
Okay. And do you have a favorite Super Life song?
It is the same song. I think it's like the intermission. It's the song that they danced to before La Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
They had like the flowing bubbles and stuff like that. I love that song so much. Every time I hear it. Every time I hear it, I always get to humming it and get to singing it. I don't know what it's called. I hope that they release it on the track list next
Right.
month. Yes.
So aside from Sailor Moon, the Super Live, do you have a favorite Miyu song?
Pick Out a Bloody Mystery.
Oh my gosh, yes!
Pick out a Bloody Mystery.
Okay. Z, favorite Super Live song and favorite Miyu song.
Okay, so my favorite Super Live song is what's the title name? I think it's Kyoku no Yuke. It's like a song that Mamoru sings to Usagi when he's like talking about his life, his past, and being very reflective. And then his counterpart song that he sings when he's under possession. Those two big repeats real bad.
Okay.
Real bad. And I guess my favorite general Mew song, that's really hard because there's so many and I like the plethora. Double Moonlight Romance.
I feel like that was coming.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
That's just, it's so beautiful.
What was that?
Oh, do you like the revised version or just the regular version?
Honestly, the regular version. I like the regular version.
You could tell Quay's a musical fan because he knows the difference.
Yeah.
For me, my favorite Sailor Moon Super Live song is "We Are Sailor Guardians."
Yes.
I love the way Rico sings in that song. It gives me chills every time she like opens up the song. But it's just Jay, Music of the Spheres, like got me the Chicago performance, and I was like, oh, thank you so much. I have been like listening on that repeat for like the longest time. My favorite Miyu song. Gosh, that's tough.
Isn't it?
It really is. I want to say Moonlight Justice, but that's our theme song. You know, like that goes without saying.
Yeah.
If I had to choose, it'd probably be Sailor Beauty from the Movement Finale.
Oh.
Or the Demon Scent song by Kyori Knight and from the S musical.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or All of You Shall Die by Vampire.
Yes.
It's a good one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like La Moon goes without saying. I love La Moon.
The battle songs just hit different. Akiko Kasaka,
Right,
you're
yes.
a real one.
Yeah. So what was your favorite Super Live moment, Quay? Like what was a moment in the Super Live that stuck out to you that you just could not get over?
It was during the part to where it was like the light show.
Okay.
I enjoyed the light show a lot. And another thing that I liked was whenever the Warriors, they all went on stage and they had like these light poles and they were like, twirling them around and, they all met in the middle and pointed them up. I loved that. It definitely showed like, okay, like teamwork. Teamwork.
Okay. Z, what about you?
Honestly, same. That whole section where they have their light poles and then they have like the light streamers and how they're doing the ribbon work and then they make the star. Like that just sends chills and low-key tears to my eyes. And it just shows the unity, right? Like the unity that they all have. And then they perform the Sailor Planet attack, and I was wondering why that looked so familiar. Yes, a little bit, but that's just me. But like it just, it's like everything comes up to a point, and just how they execute that scene is just chef's kiss.
Okay. For me, it boils down to two moments. Sailor V's appearance,
Oh yes.
for sure.
Oh yes.
But definitely, like the moment I keep going back to is when they start "We Are Sailor Guardians." I love that they each kind of like announce their aspect, and then they come in and do their own intro. They say their name and they do an attack. Like, "Five Women of the White Moon" is also like one of my favorite songs. But like I tell Z all the time, I never get to hear the song to completion. Someone's always missing out, and it's like, and the only time that the song is completed is in Petit Étranger, and it's a remix. So I'm just like, you know, and, I think one specific moment, I think like it's not a moment, but it's definitely something that is worth mentioning. Where it's like, what kind of I remember this sticking out to me was that I was amazed to see the cast from the Kaguya musical on stage here in America. I think that kind of spoke to me, and the reason why I brought that up was because I'm glad that they did "We Are Sailor Guardians," because they did a Sailor Guardian song in the Kaguya musical, and they didn't do anything. And I was like, wait, I need attacks. Right, you forgot the attacks. Like, so it was good that they switched it up for the Super Live. So I was like, definitely very excited about that. So that was definitely like a chill up my spine. Like, oh my gosh, this is like a call to action. I love it. So that kind of like segues into like the favorite elements of Super Live: sound, stage design, costuming. I think that, you know, like it's a great comprehensive show. Like I was telling Z that for me it was really cool to, like, I was worried like, oh my gosh, it's going to be in Japanese, like, and I think that like I'll preface it with this: when I went to see the Super Live, I went in with very minimal expectations because I assumed that Super Live was much like Shining Moon Tokyo, where it was minimal dialogue, songs with English lyrics that the audience would be able to understand, so it wasn't necessarily going to be a story. So I figured it was going to be, and part of that expectation also came from the clips that were coming out online, where people were able to record the encore show, but not the show itself. So I was like, oh, I'm going to go and it's going to be like Chronicle or I Know Sanctuary, where it's like, it's more song and dance than it is like story, even though like those musicals have their own self-contained story. It wasn't going to be like anything similar to what I'm used to seeing in a Miu. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that it was a full stage musical with a story, and that there were subtitles on the screen so I could understand like what was going on and what people were saying. And also in conjunction with the Kaguya musical, it was also very cool to see those costumes in real life too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So with all that being said, like what elements from the show did you pick up on, like sound, stage design, costuming, that you liked for the Super Live when you saw it?
One of the main things that I enjoyed the most was just how in the back, that like city, like that neon like city light wave in the background, I paid attention to that a lot.
Okay.
I paid attention to that a lot because that is something that we really didn't get to see like that in past musicals. One of the things about the Super Live that I enjoyed a lot was how modern and minimalistic it kind of was, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was
Absolutely.
very simple.
Okay. I like the like you said, you're like paying attention to that. What I was paying attention to was those stairs.
Yes.
I said if it was me, I would have fell down them stairs.
And they have like heels on their boots too. Yes.
And Z, I know you got to see the UK and the US show on YouTube.
Yes.
What were some of the elements that stuck out to you when it came to the production of the Super Live?
So, one of the first things I noticed was the big screen in the back. I liked the imagery that was utilized, and I liked the font choices that they made. And from things I've heard from y'all, like it was very legible, it's very big. And as a graphic designer, that's the kind of things that I pay attention to. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Very stylistic, and it's something that blends and meshes into the story. I also really loved the lighting and how the lighting was used like as props. Like everything on that stage in some shape or form was utilized, whether it was the stairs, whether it was the light sticks that were used as barriers or lightsabers, what have you. And then of course the costume. I'm a big costume nerd, and it was really cool that they decided to reuse the Kaguya Fukus, give them a little bit more wear. I think they blended very well into the type of storytelling that they were doing on stage. And I agree that like it being minimalistic was really good, and it worked very well with how they were storytelling per se.
Right.
So yeah, that's it.
yeah, they definitely utilized the entire space, even for being as minimal as it was. The subtitles, like, you know, great font choice. It wasn't like just like I was worried that I'd be reading more than watching the show itself, but it was a perfect pace to where I could see what was happening and still like know what was going on. So I thought that was really great.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about this current run of musicals? So when we say run, I would say for the run of musicals, I say we've had the Sailor Quay revival, we've had Nogi Miyu, and now we have the Super Live. How do you feel about these iterations of musicals?
So I will say I haven't seen the Nogi Miyu. Isn't that
SeaofSerenity.net? You have no excuses.
Isn't that to where like they had like Team Moon and Team Star?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so yes, I have not seen those musicals yet. But
okay, well that's also your homework too.
But I have like, you know, a very good rapport for the current musicals. I definitely feel like the current musicals are a little bit, they're kind of going, I feel like, after the first season a lot. You know, I feel like we've been getting a lot of first season retellings. I would love to see like a Sailor Moon R. Like, I don't think, have we ever had like a true Sailor Moon R musical? Like a true, like Moon Crystal Power makeup, Moon Princess Halation, like a true Sailor Moon R musical.
Not since the Sailor Quay revival.
Yeah.
I would love for them to, you know, bring that back.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I love, like, honestly, the Sailor Quay revival that told the story from beginning to end is probably like my favorite iteration of the current run of musicals. I do wish that Nogi Miyu and even the Super Live would continue the story beyond the Dark Kingdom arc. Just because it's like, I think it's because we're so in tune and we're making a point to watch. We're like, okay, we're seeing the Dark Kingdom arc again. Even though I think even though it's Z's like favorite arc, even she's like, yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more.
Can we get something else, please? Thank you. Like,
right. But it's like I also think that, I think much like Crystal, it is meant for a newer audience and to get them into the franchise. And it's like jumping in to R or even any other storyline would require a bit of exposition to bring a new fan up to speed, because even Kaguya Musical had to introduce the initial Sailor Moon story before going into the actual story of Kaguya itself. So I think that that's kind of like what we're experiencing right now, where it's like it's less about us established fans and more about bringing new people into the fandom. But it's like we still here. I need to see more. Like I have transformations I want to see. I have costumes I want to see. I have characters I want to see. Like exactly.
Songs I want to hear.
Right. So, like, Lizzie, how about you? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, y'all summed up my thoughts pretty goofily. Like, I think the Nelke knows how to do some musicals. They know how to produce some really phenomenal musicals. They got their foot in the ground. I wish that they would take that foot out and move forward. I definitely get, the Dark Kingdom arc being, I don't think palpable is the right word, but like it's a good intro. It's a good intro to the Sailor Moon universe.
Right.
But at some point, let's progress the story a little bit.
Right.
Thank you. I would love to see all the Senshi and all of their eternal Gokus. Just saying, if we get to that point.
Yes, especially. And I think it's even more important now than ever because there is no more anime to watch.
Exactly.
So this is the only way that we'll be able to catch a running Sailor Moon show and be able to see the story in its entirety again. So hopefully we will be able to see more musicals from there. That being said, do you think Sailor Mew will return to the States given the positive reception that it has received here in the States? And what would you like to see if it did return, Quay?
So, I definitely think it's going to return, but I feel like it's going to creep up on us, kind of like how the Super Live did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they gave us like 90 days in advance to get all of our tickets and stuff.
Don't even get me started, because I bought my Chicago tickets. Like, I saw those initial locations. I was like, okay, I'll go to Seattle. And I was like, I can't go to Seattle. And my friend was like, let's go to Chicago. And I'm like, okay, I'll go to Chicago. And then as soon as I got those Chicago tickets, they're like, we're going to LA. And I was like, really? I'm 8 hours away from LA. And now I'm flying all the way to Chicago.
I think it definitely did receive a positive feedback here. I mean, because shows were sold out. Because by the time I was getting ready to buy my tickets, I purchased my tickets in February, and there were, a few shows that were starting to, sell out. Will it return? Yes and no. The reason why I say yes is because I feel like I could see them, bringing it to like a theater, like having it pre-recorded in a sense, and like us watching it at a theater, then coming back. I don't know. I'm so 50-50 on that, just because I don't know how.
With this current administration.
Yeah, but so with the current administration.
No tea, no shade. But all tea, all shade. But yes, me and Z talked about this the last time, where it's like, I do feel like, given the positive reception of the Super Live, that the Super Live would come back to the States. So I do think it will return in that format. What I do think that we are missing out on is a proper like full Sailor Moon musical, like with a full cast and a full story. Like it's like if it does ever come stateside, we know that it's going to be like main cast, dancers, and a villain. Like it's not going to be a full extensive like Miyu show like it is in Japan. But if it did return, you know, is there a specific storyline or returning? Is there a specific storyline you'd like to see, or if you could have your pick, who would you have return as a cast member? From any musical.
Wow, there's a lot of actresses. You know, I would love to meet Nana Suzuki. I would love to see her. I would love to see her. She is the first Sailor Venus, the very first Sailor Venus. She performed in Dark Kingdom and in The Road to Being the Love Soldier.
And she played Queen Beryl, didn't she?
No, you're thinking of Akiko Mizuwaza. So she played Sailor Venus in Ian Densetsu. Then she turned around in like 2002, 2003 or whatever and played as Queen Beryl.
Okay.
Now, whenever it comes to a specific storyline, I like them all. So, you know, I would just say, hit me with whatever. But even still, I would like to see like I'd love to see a Sailor Moon R musical. I would love to really see like a good real one. Even like, so like with Petit Étranger, I've seen like glimpses and pieces of it. Was Sailor Pluto like fully active in it?
Who? Sailor Pluto? What, boy? SeaSerenity.net. I need you to watch Petit Étranger. Yeah, Sailor Pluto stole the show for me.
Yes, Mikako Ishii, our beloved.
Yes, Mikako Ishii is amazing as Sailor Pluto, and her image song is phenomenal.
Yes.
I'm gonna need you to stop glimpsing and glancing at stuff and watch it.
So back in the day, you know, they really didn't. They had special musicals that were, you know, you had to like be there. They weren't released on the home video. One of them, it was the Sailor Moon S musical, but you know, on the one that you know recorded, we didn't get to see Super Sailor Moon in that one. And the, how do you say it? Kaitebon?
Yeah, Kaitebon.
Yeah. That one, I ended up finding a video on YouTube. The YouTuber's name is like Texum Nexum, and it had the very first Sailor Pluto actress on there. That musical was very phenomenal. It was like 30 minutes. Seeing everybody do Lemuru Lemuru Moonlight was perfect. Oh my goodness. Seeing Sailor Pluto dance with them was everything.
Yeah. The one thing that, you know, kind of like, you know, is very unique to the Bandai era is that they were constantly revising their musicals where some characters aren't there, and then they bring in those, like, it's like, and I think that's what made it so unique. It was like they did their first run, they got the feedback, or they realized they could do more, and then they come out with a revision. And add in the characters that are missing, or punch up the storyline, or what have you. So, CFSerenity.net, where you can like, it's like all the musicals are pretty much there. But yeah, I think that for me, I think the Nelke revival kind of like encapsulated the Sailor Moon story the best, because the core Sailor Moon story, like the Bandai goes without saying, because it did its own thing. So I would like to see kind of like that story told over again, but then kind of in essence of Bandai, like retell some of those stories too, and bring back some of those characters, and even like some of the newer cast to play different roles in those different stories, or just come up with a story, like a new story altogether. Like it's just like the possibilities are infinite. As far as like returning cast, I would like to see like Hotaru return, or Satomi, or gosh, there's so many good actresses in it. But it's just like I wouldn't even know like what type of story I would want to see. But I feel like the Nelke revival kind of like I would like them. So honestly, like a specific storyline, I would like them to retell Lee Reconquista. No, I don't, because they already did Dark Kingdom. Never mind. I was like, yeah, because Lee Reconquista was kind of like a watered down version, but now I was like, we've gotten like 3 iterations of the Dark Kingdom arc. So no, I think that kind of like encapsulated. But I would love to see the other stories told. Like I would like to see like how Nogi Miu would do their story, and I would like to see how the Super Live would do their version, because Nogi Miu is a full stage musical, whereas the Super Live is kind of like an abbreviated version.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's room for both of them to exist. Z, what do you think?
I agree. But I also want a Star Wars musical told really badly, from whether it's a Super Live perspective or something like Nogi, that's bigger stage, that would have a bigger cast to it. I also would love to see how those costumes would look. I'm a big costume person, I'm sorry. But how those costumes would look, and just the staging overall, because I mean they had people flying in the Nogi Miu. Like, it would be cool to see those, I guess, theatrical elements with that particular story. And I'm also a big fan of, if they were to do a new story, they should do a prequel. I can walk you through it. I think it would be so stinking cool if they did like a prequel that focused on Queen Serenity and had like those little look-ins of like Queen Nehelenia and Queen Beryl, and just how that all ties in together.
Right.
Oh, yes.
I've imagined it for so long. I think that would be really. I think it'd be really fun. In terms of returning cast, because I love Prism on Ice, and it's a shame that we never got that. I would love to see Anza be Queen Serenity, because that was supposed to happen, and they took it away from us, and I would have loved to have seen that.
You know, it's funny that you say that too, because Jamie, who plays Queen Serenity and Lee Reconquista, gave me Anza vibes. Like, she looks almost like Anza.
So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Okay. All right. Well, that is our time. Quay, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell the audience where they can find you on social media?
Absolutely. So you guys can always find me on Instagram at Sailor Quay Collectibles. Please take a look at all of my posts. You can always hit my messages and let's talk. We can talk about Powerpuff Girls, Sailor Moon, anything.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to link it in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in to Double Moonlight Justice, and we will see you guys next time.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thank you.